Welcome back to Cheap Ass Movie Reviews. I'm Eric Stafford, and this movie set me on a new collector's journey. Okay, like I was saying before, this film in particular took me on a collector's journey. And that is something I started a few months back, but was able to finish recently. So what had happened was I had picked up a copy of Creature from the Black Lagoon and was looking forward to it because it was also one of the first it was probably the biggest Hollywood 3D movie. And when 3D come about in the 50s, it was probably the biggest 3D movie, probably next to House of Wax with Vincent Price and a couple of the other films that did come out, but this one was in 3D. Now, when I was a kid, they showed Revenge of the Creature on TV, and we saw it in 3D, and you could pick up your glasses at your local Circle K or 7-Eleven or whatever it was. And but I do remember it was WSOC Channel 9 in Charlotte that was showing the film, and they were doing it on a Saturday night as a special event, preempting primetime broadcasting, but it was the summertime, so I guess they could do that. It was all repeats. WJZY in Charlotte also did it. I believe it was them with a film called Hondo with John Wayne, and that's another thing. Anyway, this particular film, this Creature from the Black Lagoon, I picked up, and it says it's in 2D and 3D. And so I was like, hey, it's in 2D and 3D. And so you're going to be able to see the 3D like you did back in the day with the red eye and the blue eye. And you're going to be able to see it like that. And that's what I was thinking. But no, it wasn't that way at all. It's for the new 3D TVs, or what at the time was new 3D TVs, which are kind of hard to find these days unless you buy them used. And so I have never owned a 3D TV. I have friends that have them, but I have never had one myself. And a lot of folks in my family get a headache from 3D in the theater, so I just didn't ever participate in that. Now, as far as the red and blue separation of the 3D, where one eye's red, one eye's blue, I've always thought that worked relatively well. And I do have like Jason 3D, or Friday the 13th 3 in 3D, that does have those. I have one of the Jackass movies, the Jackass 3 in 3D, and I have that movie, and they have the red and blue eyes, you know, glasses that you see with, and that's how you see those films. And I was perfectly fine with that. But anyway, this particular movie, The Creature from the Black Lagoon, they didn't put that on there. It was for the new 3D TVs. And also, you know, I was mentioning Hondo before. If you look up Hondo and get that Blu-ray, no, it doesn't have any 3D on it whatsoever. They talk about it being a big 3D movie, but they never have any of it at all. So that's just irritating beyond belief. I mean, this was bad enough, but you know. Anyway, so what I decided to do was I decided to like search around and see if I could find why was Creature from the Black Lagoon not in 3D, in traditional 3D. And so I was like, okay, so I started searching on the internet, and I found a company called DVD Party. And DVD Party actually has that film. I mean, you can't buy it from Universal, you can't buy it from the studio, but you can buy it from DVD Party, and they have it on DVD with the red and blue separation, and you wear the 3D glasses, and that's how you do it. And that's how I got a order started with DVD Party, and I'll put the link below so you can see that. And but anyway, this is my package. We're going to do a little bit of an unwrapping with that and see what's going on with that. I have some lighting issues. I have a light that's going on and off, but that's the magic of it looks more dramatic that way. So what we're going to do is going to open this here up. You see I like covered the addresses for the innocent, but also, or the guilty, however you want to put it. But I also wanted to say, look how nice he packaged it. Like, it's got the little DVD sticker on it. It's got stars all over it. It's got like little snowflakes. It says DVD Party on the top of it, which is their logo. And I just thought it was really sweet the way the guy packaged it. And he did email me when I started to send off for it. He emailed me and said, you know, I'm sending this and it's on its way. And I thought it was really nice. Now, these are movies that, like, I don't know how legal this is, but I bought them and they're mine now. But I think he produces them singly himself. So I don't know how he had a copy of Creature from the Black Lagoon in 3D in red and blue, but he did, and it's on here. And also some crazy Japanese cartoons or kid shows that I watched when I was a kid that are no longer available here, so are not available anywhere I've found. So I don't know how good a quality any of this is going to be. This is just a little bit of a collector's journey, but I wanted to do the unboxing, and then we'll talk about the movies. So here we go. We're going to just like tear into this. We're going to look for the actual Rip It thing, because the U.S. Post Office is really good about having a Rip It thing on here. And we're going to just tear right into it. Well, he's kind of like double packed it, so we're pretty good with that. I'm looking at the other stickers. He's got other stickers once you get into this. I wanted to see what they were. Oh yeah, that's stuck. But I did like the DVD logo, DVD Party. I did like his logo and everything. I thought that was pretty nice. And oh, it's thank you. It's hard to read in the foil, you know, but it's thank you in gold. And anyway, very sweet person when I talked to him. Or I mean, just talked to him by email. Oh, and they're like polybagged. They're like, this is serious, man. Oh, wow. Anyway, some of these films are not necessarily films that you would find or hard to find, actually. I think he included this just for fun, but it looks like the Dark Side of Oz, which, do you know what the Dark Side of Oz is? Have you ever watched The Wizard of Oz and played the CD of The Dark Side of the Moon by Pink Floyd? Pretty fun. You wait for the third line roar. He goes 1, 2, 3 with the MGM, and then when the third one hits, then you hit play on your CD player. Now, I think that that it works, but I think it only works with half the picture or half the album. I mean, only half the picture. But by the time the album is run out, then I think it's done. Now, there are some coincidences if you play the album again, if you start the album again, because the album's half as long as the movie. So, but it really works during the first half. I don't know so much about the second half, but he did have those available as well, and I don't recall ordering that. So he just like kind of kicked it in with me, and no case or anything. It's just kind of there, which I kind of appreciate that. A little thank you. But, ooh, I don't remember ordering that at all. Maybe he messed up on some of the stuff. Okay, yeah, I didn't order that at all, so I don't know if he just like included some extra stuff. But, of course, here is said Creature from the Black Lagoon. But look how he's polybagged these. And see, you can see the red and the blue separation there. And you see what it looks like. But he's polybagged these, which I really appreciate. You know, polybags are like comic book bags. And I really appreciate how he's got them bagged and everything. So that's really nice. But that was the initial order, was Creature of the Black Lagoon. And then I happened to see this on there. And if you don't know, Song of the South is notoriously not available in the United States. It's available everywhere else in the world, which I thoroughly don't understand, as you can see by this European rating code right there. But I mean, if you go back and watch this film, and I'm sorry if I'm going to offend somebody by saying this, because I probably will, but if you go back and watch, it is a Disney movie, and it's not that bad. I mean, yeah, there's slavery involved, but it's not like Gone with the Wind slavery. Everybody's kind of friendly, and it's actually after the Civil War, so it's after that. And so, I mean, it's part of history. It's not a pretty part of history, but it's part of history, and you got to kind of go with that. The other thing I saw that I was dying to get is Space Giants, which was a show I used to watch on WCCB in Charlotte. WCCB in Charlotte would show it, and they had an afternoon host, and I'm trying to think of his name. But anyway, it was Larry Sprinkle, but he was Sonic Man. That was it. He was Sonic Man, and Sonic Man would host the afternoon shows when I was a kid. I was about in the 4th or 5th grade, and Space Giants was one of those shows. And it's kind of like Ultraman, but it was about a family of robots, and the dad is gold, the mom is silver, and then the boy is just like a red and blue rocket. But they would change into rockets, and they fought Rodak, who is the bad guy, and it's hokey, but it's fun. It's hokey, but it's fun. But I've never seen it available anywhere else, and I've seen some of these kind of people that have stuff like that available. Also, another one I found out about later was called Spectre Man, and when I started working at WHKY in Hickory, they had we got like tryout things that they would try to get you to show. Like pickup shows and stuff, and so we got a tryout episode, or it was like a 90-minute VHS of the 30-minute shows. It was like 3 episodes of Spectre Man, and I kind of fell in love with it then. But apparently across the country, Spectre Man was quite big. He was like a gold version of Ultraman. He was against pollution, and he fought a Planet of the Apes Dr. Zaius type guy. And they fought all the time, and I thought that was pretty cool. But anyway, Spectre Man was he was pretty popular and must have been across the country because he's got 2 DVDs. He's got a lot of episodes. The next thing up was Godzilla 1985, and you can get this movie as Godzilla, Godzilla Returns or whatever. But when I saw it in America, it had Raymond Burr. Raymond Burr come back to play Steve Martin from the original Godzilla, and he was in the film. And they also had a lot of bad product placement by Dr. Pepper. And so there's Dr. Pepper cans sitting everywhere, and Raymond Burr's in it, and they added him back into it. But it's a really good, if you've never seen Godzilla 85, it's a really good version of the film. And but I wanted to see the American version. I haven't seen since it come out in 1985 in the theater, so happy to see that. And I don't know why, but Alfred Hitchcock's Dial M for Murder has been included, and I don't know if he's just being nice to me or what, because I didn't really order that. I think I ordered The Dark Side of Oz, and in 3D. I don't even think I ordered that. So I'm just agog and aghast, because I think he sent me these just as extras, because I do remember ordering the other ones, but not that. And then of course, well, is that a sticker? It's like it feels almost like a sticker, but it's just a DVD party. DVDparty.com. So, if you want to go pick any of these up, you can pick them up. Now let's get back to the original here. We'll go back to the start, and we will open up. It's a resealable poly bag, which is really cool. That's really cool. And I love he's got these purple cases. Oh, there's the 3D glasses. Oh my goodness, look at this. Look at this. This is fabulous. It's got another cover on the inside, so you can see. You've got your 3D. That's the 3D copy of this film. This is a lot better packaging than what you get from Universal. Universal's packaging on this is that, and boring. Look at this. Look at this. It's like gold, man. Nothing but gold. But anyway, it's got the 3D glasses included, which if you don't have 3D glasses, then you're not truly a 10th Doctor fan. But anyway, it's got that. It's also got this great printed thing. Okay, that's what it looks like outside of the print. So if you wanted to flip it around and have a different cover on the outside so you definitely knew which one was your 3D copy, then you could do that. But that is so nice. That is incredibly sweet. That's well worth the price of admission right there, I've got to admit. And I do love these DVD poly bags. That is super cool. And as a collector, and you know, I'm a comic book collector too, so I'm like, you know, to have something polybagged is your dream. It almost feels like Mylar. It's not quite Mylar thick, but it's pretty thick. And hopefully that won't glare too much there, but pretty cool so far. And I just want to open this one up and see, because it's just the disc, but it's got the 3D print on it. And I'm pretty sure that's the Dark Side of Oz, because it's got Dorothy on the front. And just looks pretty cool. So looking forward to that. I know I did not order Dial M for Murder. I do remember it being in 3D, but I kind of forgot that it was in 3D when I was talking about 3D movies earlier. And it's a little more plain Jane, but it does have the 3D glasses included with it, but it does have a very nice theme of the dial, of the rotary dial for the phone. So I did grow up with rotary phones, and so I'm used to that. And you always hated somebody that had a lot of 9s in their number, because you had to wait forever for it to come back around. And my grandparents had a cast iron, y'all, a cast iron phone. And the way they had it hooked up was like a family member had hooked up, you know, it was back in party lines and all that stuff in the 50s. And the way that they had hooked it up, the phone upstairs in their bedroom, you could pick up and listen in on to whoever was having a conversation downstairs. And like when my sisters were calling their boyfriends or whatever, I would pick it up and listen and see if I could find anything out. But didn't find out a whole lot. But here's Godzilla 1985, and it's got the Japanese cover on the back. And his artwork and stuff on these is beautiful. I mean, it's gorgeous. And this is very well printed. So if you are looking to do some, oh man, look at that. That is gorgeous. That is freaking gorgeous. I love that. And of course, got to pull it out because I'm just that much of a geek. There's Godzilla, what he looks like in color. I do really like these purple cases. It's a good alternative, and it's really unique. It's really unique. And I'm liking the way that disc art as well. I mean, he's gone all out. This guy has gone all out. And he's in San Francisco, I believe. And but anyway, DVDparty.com if you want to pick some of this stuff up. And I can't wait to watch these. I'm gonna have my 3D glasses on. And now these other films are not in 3D. But let's take a look at Spectre Man. There's you. I guess I should take it out of the poly bag. These poly bags, I can't tell you how much I'd like to have some other stuff poly bag. I'm gonna have to order me some of those, because that's pretty freaking cool. There's Spectre Man Volume 1, or Box 1. Oh, it's got a little packing thing in it. I wonder what that was for. Somebody missed it. But it does have interior. It does have like an interior piece of art. And then there's Spectre Man Disc 1. And I have never seen, like I said, I have never seen Spectre Man. Oh, it ain't just disc 1, it's Box 1. Look at this. This is a mess of disc. A mess of disc in here. 1, 2, 3, 4 disc. 4 disc in this first set from Box 1. And a very nice case that they're in. And I did kind of see, you can kind of see the artwork on that side, and it is just white on the inside. So he didn't double print that one, but he did put the little Japanese version of Spectre Man right there. And if you haven't ever seen Spectre Man before, search it on YouTube and watch one. I've watched some online before. It's not as hidden as Space Giants. And Space Giants was, and I do remember actually seeing Spectre Man available on Laserdisc, like when Laserdisc was hot. I actually saw one time in a Laserdisc store, and along with some Godzilla films. But we'll see, Spectre-Man Volume 2. There we go. I'm going to open it up. Oh, he must be worried about those discs jumping around. So he's really concerned about keeping them well. And that's another great piece of Japanese art for Spectre-Man. And just cool stuff. Well, box 2 has, how many discs in it? 1, 2, they both have 4. They both have 4 in each box set. I'm going to put the little foamy bit back in there because apparently he's worried about that bouncing around when you're shipping it. And I thoroughly understand that. That's a smart way to do it. And he was very considerate in his packaging. I mean, it's not the hardest packaging in the world, but he did have it bubble wrapped and had it. I mean, these things are pristine. They look great. I'll put that in later and fix that one. But Space Giants is the one from when I was a kid that I had to have. I saw it. I was like, oh my God, he's got Space Giants. Because nobody even remembers it. It was like a 1 or 2 season thing. And, you know, when you start asking people, do you remember this Japanese show that was in syndication in 1978? Most of the time they don't. Just saying. But anyway, the Space Giants. There's Goldar, and Goldar the Gold Rocket, and a really nice. He was called like Magma or something because they live in a volcano, and it was like Ambassador Magma or something along those lines. Anyway, 1, 2, 3, 4 discs, and very clearly labeled too. Like you see, number 4 is number 4. No doubts. No doubts of what's in there. I think this case got a little roughed up, but I see a piece of case, but I don't see where it come from, so it's probably not this case. That happens too. Oh, let me put my little patty bit in there. But I am really looking forward to seeing Space Giants. I have not seen it since I was a kid, and I would probably cringe. But I mean, it's hard to find them. It's hard to find them dubbed in English. These are dubbed in English. And so looking forward to seeing that. There's the back of the box with different shots from the show. Rodak flies this bat-like ship. Now, I have embarrassing stories about Song of the South. I do remember seeing it in the theater. It was re-released in the 70s when my grandfather ran the Center Theater. I remember going to see it. We went and saw it. I don't know if I was in kindergarten or what age I was. It was about that age. And but Disney had released it then, sometime early 70s. And so I had seen it in the theater. It's the one with Brer Rabbit and Brer Fox and all that stuff like that. The Uncle Remus stories, which is, you know, some people might consider that racist, but I don't know. I thought it was enjoyable. And it does have the Disney cover, the Disney art. And you can tell, you know, it was made, it's a European cut. But anyway, looking in on this, we'll see what's in here. Oh, it's beautiful, but it does have the big mouse on it. Disney, I like the Disneyland record thing. It does have Disney on it. But my big embarrassing story about Song of the South, which if that's not embarrassing enough for you that I saw it in the theater, is that on my wedding night, me and my bride-to-be, we went to Gatlinburg, and we're going to get married, and we're going to stay in Gatlinburg. And so we had gone to Gatlinburg, and I went to a video store that night. It was our wedding night. We had already got married. It was that afternoon, and my wife will tell the story to her dying day. But I went and got in at this video store, and we walked through, and the guy had a bootleg copy, which any copy you get in the United States is going to be a bootleg copy of Song of the South. And the guy had it, and I picked it up immediately, and then I started combing through the guy's entire store, much to my wife's chagrin. I mean, she should know by now after all these years. But and he did have the long trailer, which I think is finally coming out on like Blu-ray or something by itself. But Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz in a very funny movie if you've never seen it. But he had the long trailer. He had Song of the South, and he had The Ghost and Mr. Chicken, and he had all those. And this is the only one I knew that you couldn't get. And then Long Trailer was in a box set of Lucille Ball films, and the only way you could get it was individually. It didn't come out individually, so that was at the time. And but anyway, she had to tell the guy at the video store. She was like, "Okay, what time do you close?" And it was like 9, and the guy was like not closing because I was still looking. I was thumbing through everything. And she's like, "You know, how much do I have to pay you to close this place? Because tonight's our wedding night, and he's not going to leave until you close the store." And so the guy came in and said, "Okay, everybody's closing up, you know, settle up." And so he come in and closed the store in Gatlinburg there, and went and paid for everything. And then she told me afterwards, I had to get the guy to close the store to get you out of the movie stuff. And I was like, "Yeah." So I'm sorry about that, but that's my non-romantic bones right there. I have, you know, I was more concerned about the movie collection and finding stuff. I did also pick up a Sonny Shiba box set, but not at that particular store. But you know, and that's how I remember stuff. I remember stuff from the movies I picked up, the comics I picked up in different locations. And but I mean, of course, the wedding was memorable, and my beautiful bride Kathy, are more than memorable, and the love of my life. But you know, there's something about that movie collector thing, and so that always kind of paws at you. But I'm going to look at some of these, and then I'll give you a report on how they look and how things came out. Well, it's just like I thought it would be. It's really great to be able to see The Creature from the Black Lagoon in 3D, the way it was intended. And a DVD party has delivered. If you are thinking about buying, well, I gotta get my shoulders right. If you're thinking about buying a copy of the film, it's well worth your time. Is it perfect? No, of course not. Any 3D is not perfect. I do see at times there's a little bit of futzing with the DVD as far as like how the color separation is. But it's very rare, and there's only a couple of places that I saw that happens. But to see the movie in 3D, the way it was intended, is just really, really cool, and I think that anybody would enjoy it. So, DVD party, definitely 2 thumbs up. Really enjoy their stuff. Well worth your time. They have several titles available. Just go online to dvdparty.com and look and see what they have. And all very affordable, nothing crazy. And see some of the cool stuff that they got. Because they got, I mean, it's super cool, man. To be able to project this in your house, have some friends over, got your 3D glasses on, got your popcorn, just having a great time watching 3D the way it was intended back in the 1950s. If you like this content, all you got to do is hit like and subscribe down at the bottom of the screen, and you will be notified if, you know, I put up another video. So it's always good to have that notification and know that you're up there and subscribed and get the information as it comes out. I'll be doing some more films here in a little bit, so it's always glad to have you with me, and maybe we can all get my arms straight. Maybe we can all watch a 3D movie together or something. I don't know. Hey, it's worth a try. So, 3D. Ah.